Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be interviewing an amazing creator of magic. He has created some of the best tricks ever, including Poker Test and Poker Test 2.0. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Erik Casey. How are you, Erik?
I can't complain, man. I'm over here in Florida. It's 75 and sunny, so it's a pretty
That
good day
sounds
for
a
me.
lot better than where I am. What have you been doing recently?
So recently, obviously, we're in the middle of the whole COVID thing. So performing is not happening. So I have started a new company where I do actually marketing and branding and like advertising for small businesses. So that's been fun, but like also I'm still working on magic and creating magic. I just haven't been able to test it out and perform it yet.
Yeah, no, I think that's been like a big thing for like a lot of creators as well. Like they can't I know someone, he's got like a really great idea, and he said to me like it doesn't work over Zoom. So
Yeah,
he
yeah,
needs like
that's
he needs to, and he's trying it on his like family, but he needs like an actual magician's opinion on it.
yeah.
So it's tough as well. So yeah, I think that's definitely true. Well, obviously, talking on creating stuff, you've created Poker Test and
Yeah,
Poker Test 2.0,
yeah.
which are honestly probably the best thing I've ever bought.
Wow, thank you.
It is
That's a
amazing.
huge compliment, man, and I'm really appreciative.
I mean, yeah, I think by a mile as well. It's absolutely brilliant. I kind of feel like this is like honestly, it's just so good. I'll play the trailer while we're talking, so you can just see it in the background.
Okay guys, I have an observation test for you. I have 5 blue playing cards here. I'm going to show you the fronts and the backs of the cards, and you have to remember what you see. So take it all in. Here's the back of the cards. Here's the face of the cards. Here's the test. How many cards did I have? Well, if you said 5, you'd be correct. Congratulations. But it gets a little harder. Question 2, what was the bottom card? If you saw a blank card, you'd actually be wrong. It's an ace. I missed the 2 my first time. By the way, do you still remember what color the backs of the cards were? Blue? They're actually red. I missed that too. And if you missed that, like I did, you probably missed the face of the cards. The royal flush.
But it is honestly just so good. And I just wanted to talk to you a bit about, creating that, because obviously you come out with Poker Test 1 at
Yeah.
first, which, am I right in saying you can't use your own cards with that, or?
Yeah, Poker Test 1 was whatever I sent you is what you got. So if you wanted like red to blue with spades, but didn't get that gimmick, well, too bad. Then you can't do that version. And so yeah, that was it was. I mean, it's still a great trick, obviously, but it was way less customizable.
Yeah, no, definitely. I kind of feel like Poker Test 2.0. What I really like about it, I've seen some really funny versions of it being done. Like I've seen I think it was on something like, how people do like their own Zoom trailers, like they're like, oh, this is what I kind of do on Zoom, like you can
Yeah,
hire me and stuff. Someone did it like they got custom printed cards, and they were like, it was like they had their family on it, and they were like, but now I can't be with my family, and that was kind of how it changed.
that's
um
awesome.
yeah, it was like, and I just thought, and then it come no it started off they couldn't be with their family, and then it come back because of the lockdown, and then the lockdown had ended. I think they were in Australia, so the lockdown was over, which I thought was really cool. But that's what I really like about it. You can do whatever you want with it. You
Yeah,
can kind of just like, it's kind of like one of those tricks that you like, there's endless possibilities. It's really
yeah,
cool.
no kidding. I just had a magician in North Carolina named Brian Saint send me a version that he did. I don't want to go too in detail about it because I don't know what he's planning on doing with it. If he wants to like publish it, not publish it, but like put it on Instagram or something. But he does like the princess card trick with it. And then the way he's presenting it though is just so clever, and it's like a great use of the principle, but it doesn't feel like Poker Test. It feels like a totally new trick. And I love seeing that kind of stuff where someone can take that's what I honestly always want to see too, is when someone takes my idea and they reinvent it for themselves. Like that's the dream for me. Is the amount of times I've seen someone do poker test and they use the exact script I use, which again, it's a great script. It's the easiest way to do it. But I'm always like, nah, all right. Like, that's just like, it's okay. But I love when someone takes it and like, yeah, they put their family in it, or like they're turning it into a whole new trick. That's just, that's such a joy to watch.
Yeah, it must feel kind of like as well, like, oh, I created that, and then they're kind of almost not making it their own, but they're kind of like being creative with it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you know, that's like that's really big. And as well, I just want to ask you, if you don't mind me asking, how long, because obviously you created Poker Test, what was kind of how long did it take you to get Poker Test 2.0 out? Like how long were you kind of in the process of getting it out? So like kind of thinking about it and stuff.
From 1.0 to 2.0, not from like
From
the
the very
birth to
beginning.
one.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. It's I mean, that story has a lot of ups and downs, but I guess it was like 15 years ago. I was working on a gambling demo. Maybe more like 13 years ago, but I was working on a gambling demo, and I wanted to essentially, the presentation where it started was like, the concept was whenever I get dealt cards, I view them as blank cards, because it doesn't matter what I get dealt. It could be anything, essentially blank, because I'm going to bring in a royal flush, and then I would just do a change, and then it's a royal flush. And that was the whole trick. It was just, you know, the backs would stay red, but the cards on the faces would change. Yeah. And that's like cute, but like in the middle of a gambling demo, to try and bring in that gimmick, do that move and move on, it just left me wanting. I was like, it's not good enough, but it's like cool, but like not enough magic's happened, you know? And like I didn't even need a gimmick for that. Like I could have done with like a sleight of hand with a packet switch. Like it was so not necessary. I was like overcomplicating the trick.
Yeah.
And then I still played with it though for a while, but I wasn't loving it. Then I realized you could make the back switch, and that was an idea that I got out of a Harry Anderson book. And from there, it was still cool, because then I like the concept of saying like, I'm a card cheat and I'm like a really good one, but you know, I'm like kind of like an idiot because I switched for the wrong deck of cards. And so now I have a royal flush, but the backs are a different color, and now it's like obvious I cheated. And that still was too quick though of an effect. And then I got to meet Greg Wilson when I was like 17 or 18 years old at just at a lecture here in Jacksonville, Florida. And we had a great time at the lecture. It was like super fun. He's just so entertaining, but he is just like, I don't know, he's such a like true magician creator that he kept asking in the middle of the lecture, you know, did anyone see how I did that? Did you catch anything? And I think a lot of people took that as arrogance, but I took that as like, oh, he cares. Like he actually cares about what he's doing. He needs to know if he's been caught. Because I'm the same way when I perform for my magician friends. Like, don't just applaud me. Like, tell me where I've messed up. And so I was just not afraid to like answer any of his questions when he would ask us, did he, you know, fool us? And so like constantly I was like raising my hand being like, I think the method's this. And he'd be like, all right, you nailed it. And we'd like keep doing that over and over. And then at the end of the lecture, he was like just chatting with me, showing me some other stuff he was working on. So afterwards he shows me some stuff. We talk about it, work on it. And then I'm like, well, you know what? Let me just take this shot. Like I've been studying your stuff since I was like 12 years old, but you know, let me show you something I'm working on. And thinking it would just be something he'd be like, oh, that's cute. And so I kind of show him that trick, and he just pauses and he's like, do that again. And so I do it again. And it was like, huh. And he's like, let me play with it. Like I want to, and he literally took the cards, went to the corner of the room, and just sat there silently. And there's like magicians after the lecture still kind of like milling about, chatting. And like Greg is just in the corner playing with my gimmick though, just like not talking to people and just wanting to play with this. And like, that's a really one kind of scary moment for me. Cause I'm like, I still don't know if he like likes the trick yet, but it was just kind of cool. And then he came back and did the poker test essentially. It wasn't as good as like where it is now, but he slowed the whole routine down. And then from there, I started giving him notes on it. He was returning fire back and forth. And then that's kind of how the poker test 1.0 was birthed, was just Greg sitting in a corner playing with the gimmick. And then both of us kind of working on it. And then we left the lecture room because we had to get kicked out at like 10 p.m. and we went to a Denny's and we worked until maybe 3 a.m. on the routine. So, and then, then that was the poker test 1.0.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It was wild. I had to wake up the next morning at like 5 a.m. And it was terrible. But at the same time, I was like, once in a lifetime opportunity. I have to just, stay up and talk with this guy.
That's so amazing. Like, oh my God, that's like such a big story behind it.
It's wild. I like tell there's so many people who I just feel like don't realize how much magic like that's been created or released just comes from just kind of putting yourself out there and being like, is this something? And like just showing others, and like it just kind of happens. Like I never intended on being a creator of magic. I just loved magic and created my own magic, but I never thought I could sell it until Greg was like, this is awesome. And then that kind of gives you that confidence boost to be like, oh, like, am I good? Like, is this?
Yeah, I mean, that's not just like any old creator as well. It's like Greg Wilson, like, it's not just like someone that's created like, like a couple of things, like, it's like Greg Wilson just like is amazing. So that's really great.
I like was studying him at my beginning of magic life to then like, to have that was wild, which also is like such a cool lesson in that like all of these people I look up to are just regular people just hanging out, like doing magic. Like we're all the same people. Like I always had this like starstruck feeling until I realized, oh my God, no, we're all just the same. Like, and then it just, then the walls broke down, and I'll talk to anyone now. I really don't. I don't know. It's great. It's such a cool feeling.
I mean, like that, the first time I saw Poker Test, I saw someone actually do it live, and I didn't know it was a product, and I was very new to magic, and I wasn't like that new, but I saw it and I was like, what a great packet switch. Yeah. And then 1 year later, I figured out about actual that okay, this is a bit embarrassing, but I didn't know that people actually sold magic tricks. I thought people just went off on like YouTube and learned tutorials and like moves and stuff. So I found a magic shop and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I bought a couple of things, which now I'm looking back on and I'm thinking I probably shouldn't have bought that, because it was like £75 worth of magic that, I probably won't actually use.
Yeah.
Gimmick deck. And, like, I'm, if they inspect the cards, there's like 5 duplicates in there that I'm probably, it's like not really. But anyway, so so then I kind of was looking for things to buy, like things that are amazing. And one day my friend, he messaged me on Instagram. He was like, oh my God, look at this. And then I looked at it, and would I be right in saying I bought it so long ago? Is it £25?
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at it and I saw it was £25. I was like, wait, no way. And then I remembered back to that time. I was like, wait, that wasn't a packet switch. And when I bought it, I just opened it up immediately. I went downstairs and showed my mum, and she was like, what? Because at the first time, like I always been used to doing magic, like, just like pick a card and I just control it to the top and do something.
Yeah.
So when I did that, she was like, well, I actually don't know how you did that.
That's
and
awesome.
It was like, it's like that feeling of like, and then it's when like, and that is the best thing I've ever bought, definitely. It was absolutely amazing. And to be honest, I just want to thank you for letting so many people just have that, just being able to use it. It's amazing.
It's funny you say that. I mean, one, you're welcome. I had no idea that this many people would do that trick. I just was like young and was like, yeah, I'll sell it. Let's see what happens. And then now there's, everyone across the world is doing this trick. And I'm like, did not see that coming. Like, I don't know if I would have released it if I knew it. Like, I don't, I don't look at it as my trick anymore. Like, and not in a bad way. It's just like, it's the world's trick. Like, it's like, sure, I created it, but like, there's so many people out there. I could show this trick to people and I'm betting they would be like, oh, that magician last week did that like, that's so cool. You can do his trick. And I'd be like, no, it's fine. All right. Like, it's too late. like there's too many people doing this now that like,
he made a great trick there. Thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's fine. Like that is the nature of, selling magic. I don't sell all my stuff anymore because I realized that is a possibility that the whole world will do it. And like, what a blessing that is. But at the same time, it's like, I really can't do poker test anymore. Like, that's not really my trick anymore.
Yeah, no, I think like, so when you sold it, did you just kind of think like you just put it out there and you were like, oh, you know, like quite some people might buy it.
100%.
And then I kind of did you go on Cool Box Live and they said like modern classic?
Yeah.
I
Both Nick
totally
and
think
Erik
that's so true. Like it's like I feel like it should be one of those tricks that almost like it's like, for me it's just like insanely good. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm like, it's just so good. But yeah, also another thing I think is really good, I think it's really good for Zoom.
It honestly, yeah, that's one of those things too, where it's like, I wish I would have released it like last year for the first time, so I could get that first initial push, because it would have been like the perfect Zoom trick. Because it totally is. It totally is perfect for Zoom.
Yeah, it's like a cool little as well. I like the whole observation thing.
Yeah.
That's really good over Zoom because obviously they don't have to touch anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like it's just on. I think that Zoom, the way that things are going with Zoom, like obviously, I don't know. After lockdown, people might still use Zoom for magic shows. I think they will, to be honest, because I think it's really helpful. You
Yeah.
go, because you look like you want to talk. Go for it.
No, it's more, I don't know. I got asked to do some Zoom material for like our local news station here in Jacksonville, and I was like, excited to jump on, and like I had something to do. I've been sitting in my house for like a month and a half not doing anything, and I was like, right on, I'll create some new material for this. Like, it's a great opportunity to do new material, and it was horrible. Like, just so bad. And so I'm glad that the Zoom magicians out there who are crushing it. I'm just not one of those people, man. I'm glad it was pre-recorded segment, not live, because they cut more than 50% of my material. And like, thank God they did. It was such bad magic. But poker test made it, so that was good.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I kind of feel like poker test is like it's like one of those things that the people come on, and I don't know why, but I always say this, and I always say this to like my friends that actually do magic. I just say to them, like, when you do magic to people, when you first like go up to them, or if they bought like your Zoom show, they might feel a bit like uncomfortable at first. Because I feel like there are some people, they couldn't care less if they see a great trick. They just want to try and figure out how I've done it.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people are like that. So when you do poker test, you could use it as an opener, and it kind of makes them feel more easy with you. Like, because at first they might feel a bit uncomfortable, but then when they kind of realize, I think poker test, it can also be used as like a bit of it's a bit of like a comedy routine as well. Because like, it's like, a observation test, and it's just funny. And I personally just think I think it's really good in every single, like, you can do it, I think, kind of like you could do it parlor, I guess. That would definitely be good to do it in parlor.
I know friends who do it on stage. They just bring a camera on stage with them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people
be done anywhere.
A lot of people do like they print a deck of cards on stage. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I got one of my friends, John Hinton in Texas, actually just got to do a live outdoor show, and he told me he did poker test on stage and it slayed. And it's one of those things too where I was like, man, like I can't, like even my friends are doing it. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, like, oh my God, that must feel so. Does it feel good? Like, if you just like see a video of it, does it feel good to be like, oh, I created that? Like, that must.
It does now. Yeah. Like, no lie, there's a period of time where I was just like sick of it. Like, I wanted to not, like, I don't know how to describe it, because it just sounds so like arrogant to a degree, but I was young and stupid, and I was like, I want to be a creator and I want to be known for other things. And now I'm like realizing, like, if I'm just known for one thing, like, who cares? I'm known. Like, that's a really cool thing. Like, I struck lightning once. Maybe I'll do it again in the future. Who knows? But why not just be happy that I did it once? And that's really cool to me. So now it's just genuinely incredible. Anytime I get tagged on Instagram or have videos sent to me by people being like, is this poker test? It's like, it's just so cool. So yeah, I love it now.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel like I mean, the second I said poker test, people know that you created poker test.
Yeah.
Like if you say poker test or if you say Erik Casey, people will immediately think of poker test because
Yeah.
it
And
is so well known. It's so
yeah.
great.
And like, well, I would love to one day break out of that reputation, but you know, I've got a reputation though, and that's cool enough. Like, I'll take it. Like, my whole life since I was like 13 years old, I wanted to just be known among magicians. I thought that would be so cool, and I did. So here I am.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. I mean, like to be honest, wait, do you perform?
Not that often. I mostly just create and perform for friends. I've never been a full-time performer or well, when I was selling Poker Test, I counted, not when I was selling Poker Test, still am. When I initially sold Poker Test, the initial run of 1.0 and the initial run of 2.0, I counted myself as a full-time magician because I like quit my daytime job and just lived off that royalty money for a while. And like an idiot, I didn't save any of it. So if anyone's listening to this and they want to create magic or do any of that, just save your money. That's my biggest piece of advice. I didn't save any of my money. I spent all of it traveling and just doing whatever I wanted. I don't regret it. I would have done it differently though, for sure. So that was the only time where I'd call myself an actual full-time magician because I only made money from magic for like a year. That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, like to be honest with you, like when you were a full-time magician, did you do poker test a lot? Like, was it like your main thing or?
No, I mean, my money came from Poker Test, but when I release a trick, I tend not to do that trick for like a solid year or two after it comes out. And it just forces me to, get my creative juices flowing again and create new stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're kind of stuck in the mind frame of one trick,
Yeah.
it's never gonna nothing new is gonna come in. So yeah. But so are you still obviously you said that a lot of things you've created and then you just haven't put them out for the
Yeah.
reason that you didn't want like the reputation.
I have like 3 full routines that I've filmed demos and explanations for just sitting on my hard drive that I'm like, I just know once I release it, I can't do it mentally. Like I just won't let myself, and I'm not ready to take that trick away from me yet and give it to the world. So
That's completely understandable.
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like, it's that's completely understandable because, like as well, it's your trick. You can
yeah.
be able to like keep it for yourself as well.
One of them I filmed like twice already because I filmed it once and then I just kept performing it and it's just evolved more. And I'm like, wow, it's better than when I filmed it. And so now I have a whole second like teaching thing where like both versions are good, but it's just one is a little bit harder to perform, but it's like better. But if you don't want to do it, the original version is easier to perform and still, in my opinion, it's just as good. I showed this magician, Scott Robinson in North Carolina, and he helped me like adapt it and make it better. And like Scott's version is more streamlined and a technically better trick, but I've performed it for so many laymen that I'm like, they don't know the difference. They can't tell. So I'll just release both versions when that happens on like one download.
Yeah, no, definitely. Is that a download?
It'll be a download. It'll be my first ever download that doesn't need any gimmicks. It doesn't need anything. And you can just kind of pick up any deck of cards at any time and do it. So there's a magician who just passed away in 2020 named Paul Cummins. He lived here in Jacksonville. He is still one of my heroes, but he had a concept called fast do, which stands for from a shuffled deck in use. And so if the trick can't be done from a shuffled deck that's been in use, basically like if I'm at a coffee shop and the coffee shop just has a deck of cards lying around, like if I can't perform with that deck, then like what's the point of being a magician? And so Paul really influenced me a ton on this latest trick, which I've been doing it for like 5 years now. And it's one of my favorite routines. I'm ecstatic to release it, but it's just like, it's just so good still that I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to release it yet.
Yeah.
So it's been published in a book, but that book's already out of print, so it's fine. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that? Did you give that person the idea, or did they already have it? Or
no, yeah, it's published in a book under my name. It's all original material from my buddy Sebastian. And then he just asked, he was like, dude, he's like, this trick's really good. Can I just like toss it in there? And I mean, I made him do all the work though. I was like, you have to type it. You have to do the drawings. Like, I'm not going to do it, but like, sure, go for it. So he wrote it up completely. He had all the hands drawn for the movements and stuff, and put it in his book. And I'm pretty sure his last copy sold not too long ago, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
so, yeah.
like, do you, okay. So we did talk about, I asked you if you were like if you did perform as a magician. But I also wanted to ask you, like, okay, so I wanted to ask you two questions. Number one is, what is your favorite trick? It can be impromptu, a download, a gimmick trick, anything. It can be a product, whatever you want to pick. What is your favorite trick of all time?
Oh, of all time. It's so difficult because I want to go based by reaction. And then followed that, I want to go then based by reputation. And so it's like the two tricks there's two tricks in my head that like the people around me who see me perform the most, it's the tricks that they recommend the most for me to do. They always want me to do one of these two tricks. And so I want to whittle it down. I'm going to name both, but I'll pick a winner in a second. So one's C3 by Paul Wilson.
Oh, yes. Brilliant.
It's unreal. Like, but I don't do it like he does it. I took his method. I learned it really young, and I just kind of adapted it to my personality. So it's a very chaotic trick when I perform. Cards are flying everywhere. Packets are like, once the trick starts, I have people passing packets left and right if they want. So like, it feels insane. And again, can't do it during COVID because it's like a very hands-on trick.
Yeah.
But so I get recommended all the time, do the 4-pile trick. And that gets reactions that just make people lose their minds because it's nonsensical to be able to do it like that. And I start the trick by having the spectator shuffle. I hand the cards to him and say, you shuffle, you run through, you pick out the card you want, and then you shuffle it back in. Now, obviously, in doing that, I'm actually like, I will take the cards back, set a key card and everything, but they remember it as the cards never leaving their hands. And so it's really deceptive, especially when then that chaos hits. They only remember them shuffling, them choosing, them mixing, and the card still showing up back for them, and then the whole 4 of a kind. But then the other one is Stigmata by Wayne Houchin. I've been doing that since I was like 15. And that one's just so, I think that would actually have to be the winner. That's what I'm most annoyingly in Jacksonville. That's like what I'm most known for, is that trick. And it's just, again, I do it a little differently than he does it as well. I do it to fit my personality. But if we're not familiar with the effect, it's a revelation of either a card or initials. I usually do a card because it's just easier, where the spectator squeezes your arm and then the card like appears on your arm.
Wow.
I say appears, it's very like loose, because like when they squeeze your arm and release, you can sort of see the fingerprints and everything, and it looks like, or fingerprints, the finger marks, it looks like those marks then turn into a symbol. And it's very easy to do. And I think a lot of people kind of skipped past it once they saw the method, that they were like, that won't work. And it works perfectly. It's insane looking. And my favorite thing to do though is the second I get really weird with it, because I'm a very like chaotic performer when I do this. This is the only trick then where I just tone it all down. I make everyone just leans in naturally. They want to know what's about to happen. And then the second they squeeze my arm, the second they let go, I just sit silently and don't move. And then the audience gets super weird. Then they all start focusing attention onto my forearm. And then that's when, I wait for someone else to point it out. I'm not going to spell it out for them and stuff. And so it feels so much more magical at that point that it's usually not even the person who's performing with me. It's usually someone else in the audience that points and is like, oh my God, is that what I think it is? And then everyone else starts seeing it. And then it's over at that point. And that's
both of those a product.
Yeah, both are for sale.
Okay, I'll put them both in the description, both of the links.
Yeah. Well, I think Stigmata is still for sale. Well, yeah, if the link's there, it's for sale. If the link's not there, it's not. But But C3 is definitely a download on Penguin right now.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I think. Oh, yeah, no, it was. I actually, Shin Lim.
Yeah.
He did all those brilliant acts on America's Got Talent with like all the music and stuff. And when he came in with C3, I was like, this is so different. And
I was so mad. It was great, but I was just like, come on, man. Like, I don't need that on national television.
I was like, this is so different to what he's doing. And then when it all got revealed, I was expecting, because you know how a lot of people, when there's piles involved, like piles of cards, C3 is the only trick where there's like lots of piles involved that I really, really like.
Oh, for sure.
Usually, I don't know what it is, but like people say, oh, this is a magician fooler. Well, if it's mathematical, no one's going to run back all the maths, are they? So it's probably going to fool a lot of magicians. But C3, it's kind of like, when I saw him do it, I was like, I really hope people really like this. Because I the second he started like I was like, oh, this is, I really hope he likes this. Everyone likes it. And then when the reveal got, everyone went crazy. I was like, oh, thank you. Because I was a bit nervous for him.
For sure.
Fine.
It's definitely like when I've seen it done and it's boring. And it's just process heavy. And that's why I was like, man, I can't do it like that. Like, that's just not me. Like, when I do it, it's just pure chaos and it's insane. And I won't lie, I get really nervous when I do it because like, there is so much chaos that like, there is an opportunity for failure when I perform. And I don't love that. I always make sure that the person who selected the card, I'm hyper focused on them. And if they do a wrong deal, like, I'll gladly just then switch packets and then fix their deal and then come back and move on and no one really notices. And that very rarely happens. But like, since I'm focused on them, the two other people that are involved, I've totally had them mess up that at the end of the reveal, say it's a 7 and it's like they have a 3 and I'm just like, all right. And I'll usually take their packet. They're usually like one card off somehow if they've like miscounted or something. It's rare. And I'll just do like a shake change or something like that and just be like, look at that, you're close. But yeah, I just so much more fun with that chaos and just it just feels so impossible.
Yeah, no, I think the more, especially when you said about, they take it, they shuffle it. It's harder to backtrack when they have it in their hands.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when the process happens and then they're dealing their own cards. They're not even thinking how when they selected a card, they're thinking deal down, deal forward, switch packets with my partner, switch across, deal into his pile, because I'll have them deal to the piles next to each other. That then their brain is like, there's no feasible way that like this could be possible. And the reality is there isn't. There is no way that should be possible. And that's why I love that trick.
Yeah, no, I feel like that is just it's kind of it is one of those tricks where there is no explanation. Which is the best for me. That's the best way that's the best way to leave someone where there's no explanation whatsoever.
For sure. Which is, I would then follow up and say though, the next trick that I will be releasing is the expression test. And that's the one that's in the book. And that's kind of the same way is you progress down this path and you'll see when the trick gets released, you'll see like there are some heavy influences to C3 that as you progress down this path, when you get to the reveal is just so good that then the brain, the like spectator's brain will just shut down because they're like, nope, never mind. Like there's no way that's possible.
Yeah.
Because like I'm like forcing them down this path of logic of like it's all about following your expression and how you react to seeing things. And then you get to the end and there's this 4 of a kind in their hand and they're like, wait, no, that's not where this trick was going. Cause it goes from like science to then the last second it's magic. And they're like, damn it. Like didn't see that coming. I love it's so that's my other favorite that I would say it's like my actual favorite trick. Since it's not out, I don't really want to push that. So I'll just push other creators who are smarter than me. Yeah,
no, definitely. On the line of creators, I was going to actually ask you, which is a very tough question. And if you don't have an actual favorite or you don't want to answer it, just let me know.
I have a favorite.
Do you have a favorite creator?
Yeah, Daniel Garcia.
Oh yes.
There's no question.
Yeah, that's definitely
yeah. 100%. I would argue that he is the like Juan Tamariz is the best magician. Everyone agrees to that. Then followed by like David Williamson. But like the reality, I think Daniel Garcia is, because he's creating so differently than anyone else. Where it's like, Juan revolutionized card magic in a way that you can entertain, a room of 800 people with one single deck of cards. And that's like Juan's energy as well, as long with, mnemonica and like how he performs.
Yeah.
Whereas David Williamson, then like his kids' magic is incredible, but then his actual sleight of hand is like flawless, but like technique flawless to the book. But I wouldn't say he like pushed magic forward, he just perfected it. Whereas like Garcia is pushing magic forward and like perfecting it at the same time, where to me it's just on another level. So I don't think people would agree with me that he's the best magician alive, but I think in 10 years people will.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people don't really appreciate Daniel Garcia as much as they should. He's really great. I mean, he is like just insane stuff from him. But the last question for you, Erik, was, so I asked you what your favorite trick is. But my last question is what would you say your favorite trick, and I know it's been very short, of this year that has come out?
2021?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so difficult, man.
Actually, no, you can go for 2020.
Oh, thank God, because I'm like, it's been a couple months, and I really shockingly don't look at new magic coming out that often. I don't want it to influence me and like my like what I create. Sorry, man, my dog is back on me. What's up, dude? Snaps, though, by David Jonathan and Dan Harlan.
Yeah, I didn't buy that, but I've everyone I ask, like, I swear, like if you look at like magic best tricks of 2020, all those videos,
it's number one
like
every time.
Penguins video, it was snapped, and people voted for that. That wasn't even like their opinion. People actually voted for that, and it was snapped. I mean, like it's another one where there's like unlimited possibilities.
It is insane. Like, I can't wait to go out and perform again, because that will be in my pocket 24/7. It's Snaps is one of those where just watching the trailer alone, I didn't even need to see routines that they were doing. They just explained what it was, and I went, that's good enough for me. Like, I don't even need to see the tricks. Like, I'll make my own up. I'm good. Like,
add to cart. No,
it was. It's undervalued as well. I think it's like $40 or 40 pounds, and it's just silly. It should be $100. It should be more. Like, it's shocking how good it is.
Yeah, you know what I like about that as well? It's another one of those tricks where until you've actually it kind of like they figure it out by themselves, where like they kind of, when you deal them, then they kind of figure out what the letters are, and they're like, oh wait, that's kind of
exactly. It's that same concept. But that they'll just be looking, and then if they don't see it, someone in the audience does, and it'll just be like, wait a minute. And then so the magic's happening in their head and not you like forcing the magic to happen, if that makes sense. And that's, I think, the best style of magic is when they do it themselves. If that, I don't know how to describe it. It's such a weird magic concept, but yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, that's honestly, it's like it is really good, and as well, it's it's creative. Like, that's a really great thing to think of as well.
No kidding, it's genius.
Yeah, I know, it's like so clever. But yeah, so thank you for that, Erik. That was a brilliant interview.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's really appreciated. And
for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We've spoke about a lot. We spoke about Poker Test. We spoke about a bit about Zoom. And we spoke about your favorite trick and your favorite creator and stuff. And I'll link everything we spoke about in the description. I'll link some of Daniel Garcia's stuff as well. Did say about him, which that's only fair. And I'll link snaps. So thank you so much for coming, Erik. It's been lovely to have you on, and that was another magic interview.